بطاقة رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
Your voice matters more than you know. Every time you call iRadio, every time you share your perspective, every time you give your opinion on air, you are practicing freedom of speech. You are protecting media freedom. You are keeping independent radio alive. You are actively participating in the governance process. Many may not realize it, but those calls, comments, and conversations are not just talk. They are acts of public participation, the heartbeat of a free and open society. By speaking up, you help hold leaders accountable, raise community issues, and shape national conversations. Without your voice, the microphone goes silent. Keep calling, keep talking, because when the people speak, democracy breathes.
iRadio, for reliable and objective news from across South Sudan and beyond. You are listening to iRadio, bringing you programs that offer you an in-depth look at the issues that affect you. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
The Dawn on iRadio.
Yes, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second half of the Dawn program here on iRadio, a live broadcast from the capital, Juba. My name is Emmanuel Joseph Akile and today is Thursday, the 18th of September 2025, coming to 15 minutes now after the hour of 7. Now we move on with our program where a Supreme Court Justice is encouraging judges and magistrates to stay ahead of the curve by acquiring new skills to combat emerging crimes. Justice Stephen Simon emphasized that learning has no age limit, a key message he delivered yesterday at the opening of a 3-day capacity building workshop. The event held in Juba is for judges and magistrates of the High Court of South Sudan. The workshop is being organized by the Center for Inclusive Governance, Peace and Justice with support from Norwegian People's Aid. Justice Simon stated that it is a new policy under the judiciary's new leadership to ensure every judge is continuously trained to properly deliver justice. He advised the participants that continuous learning requires them to be attentive and dedicated, reminding them that unlike in the past, they now have opportunities to grow professionally. Justice Simon also encouraged the judges to be true learned judges by behaving professionally and to embrace this new era of change by learning English as it is the country's official language. Let's listen to him.
Giving the issues is very important to you. And what is important now is that be attentive. That is what is required from you. Be attentive and learn what is given to you. Because it is a policy of judiciary in the new leadership that judges have to learn until they die. There is a continuous education for judges because there are new crimes coming up and you have to know them. And you will be subjected to training every time to know them, such that you do your work properly. And it is also a policy of the new leadership of the judiciary that every judge must be trained, such that he delivers what is needed from him with the knowledge, not just like that. You have to know, such that you deliver properly. But these are the messages which Chief Justice wanted me to give you. Continuous learning the issue of I have graduated from the university and it is enough is not there now in the judiciary. And because of the things which were coming up, now people have been brought from the states to come and participate. And this was not happening in the previous times. It was only people who are in Juba who are getting chance always to get trained. But the center has made it possible to bring most of the people from the states and Juba with a certain percentage. And this is very good. We thank you very much for this. I want to tell the judges the issue of learning is very serious. And what I want to say is that the issue of language, you are being called land judges, but if you have nothing, if you have no knowledge in your mind, then you are not a land judge, because land judge is somebody who knows. You cannot claim to be a land judge when you have nothing in your mind. Please be serious and learn properly. Learning is very important, such that you are called land judge. Land judge, ما يكون زول ما عنده حاجة بمكم. Land judge بتقعد عمل حاجات البتاع زول ما فاهم حاجة. You have to behave well, conduct yourself well, such that people respect you. But if you misconduct yourself, people will say, is he really a judge? Because this is a simple man questioning you from your behavior. For my message to you, and Chief Justice has told me, this is what I am telling you. Be serious, and when you are leaving this place, make sure that you are going out with the knowledge from here. Because hosting, the money has been used on this, and people want you to know something. It is a new era in the judiciary, and let us change the old attitude. Let us put it aside, and let us be serious. Let us learn English this time, because I want to tell you, it will not be an open thing from now onward that people don't learn English. You have to start now to learn English, because this is the official language of the country.
Yes, and that was Justice Stephen Simon, who is a Supreme Court judge representing Chief Justice Benjamin Bak yesterday during the opening of the event for judges and magistrates of South Sudan, of the High Court of South Sudan in Juba. Now, for his part, Justice William Kaya, the new director for training of judges, says a new training policy for judges of South Sudan is being developed.
The new leadership in the judiciary of South Sudan is very keen about the issue of training of judges, very keen about the training of judges. And myself being the new director for training of judges, we are in the process of developing a training policy for judges of South Sudan. And the Chief Justice have endorsed this, and we are working on it. Justice is not only for Juba, and that is why we are bringing all this group to be trained from different areas of South Sudan, so that we have GBV court in every state, if not in every county, because we believe that issues pertaining to GBV is prevalent, cannot be denied, and there are so many means of how to address it. The judiciary is very core in this. It is true that you judges, people refer to you as learned judges, but you know, you cannot know something that you do not know. And that is why we are bringing you to this workshop, to get very good idea about GBV issues, so that when you go back to your areas, you will be able to carry out your duty on this issue in a very professional way, on the issues of GBV, and this is what we are going to learn. I know we still have challenges of language. Some people are unable to express themselves because of language constraints. Please, you speak in every language that you know. Arabic, English, try to speak in that language, and there will be people who will be able to translate your thought to other people. And these are the upcoming new ideas, GBV, and you will also be attending workshops on cyber crimes and the AI. So these are new things, and we need to learn properly about them so that when we are in our benches, we know what exactly we will do.
Right, and that was Justice William Kaya there. Now, the Executive Director for Inclusive Governance, Peace and Justice, Jacqueline Asiwa, who is also a civil society activist, pointed out that most cases of gender-based violence, whether domestic or conflict-related, occur in rural areas where there are no GBV codes. She called on the government to mobilize resources to establish such codes in the state. The human rights advocate also added that survivors are enduring significant pain and facing stigma due to the lack of justice. She made the remarks during an interview on the sidelines of a training session that brought together judges from states and high courts to build their capacity in handling judicial processes involving survivors. Let us listen to Jacqueline Asiwa speaking to my colleague Darlington Moses.
This training of judges is very important for us today because of the increasing patterns of gender-based violence in South Sudan, and also in the context of conflict, which is conflict-related sexual violence. There's a lot of documented evidence of the gender-based violence that occurred for women, girls and boys during conflict, and also in our contemporary society. Women undergo gender-based violence in their homes, in the society, and in the community or in the workplace. And most of these victims or survivors of the gender-based violence are not having justice largely. Few can report, and the process takes them long. And for conflict-related sexual violence, most of the victims are in the rural communities, and some of them are also living with stigma and fear. And as you know, most of our parts of the country are still in conflict, and that means these violations are still occurring in the communities and in the society. So this training is very critical because it's helping in the response for the prevention of gender-based violence through the judiciary. And victims have been demanding for justice, and this training is going to equip the judges, including judges from all over the states and from the High Court and the magistrate, to be able to respond to the needs for the survivors for justice. And that means we are equipping them on the survivor-centered approach, what they need to consider, the rights of the survivors during the trial and also after the trial in terms of the remedies to be awarded to them, the protection of the survivors during the trial processes, and also the psychosocial needs of the survivors. And this training, we are bringing experts from the region, because GBV is not only happening in South Sudan, it has happened in some countries, and regional experiences from Kenya and Uganda on how they have managed and responded to issues of gender-based violence is critical. So we are bringing also experts from Uganda and from Kenya who have been working with the judiciary of South Sudan in terms of the access to justice and rule of law. And this training, they are going to be sharing the experiences and knowledge, and also interact with the judges on the challenges and how they can be able to address them through the legal processes. You know, the trial process for victims of gender-based violence is different from the trial processes of any other maybe person or complainant who may come before the court. First, for the victim-centered approach, you need to make sure that the courtroom is safe for the survivors, you need to make sure that protection of the survivors in these trial processes is put in place. The judiciary is facing a lot of challenge in terms of finances and resources for them to be able to have the infrastructure established in place, and for the judges also to be able to carry on with their work. And gender-based violence require multi-sectoral approach. The judiciary cannot do it alone. They may need the police, for example, to bring and collect the evidence and to be able to bring it before the court. The role of the prosecutor is very critical in this aspect. They may need also the medical evidence from the hospitals or from the medical units. And this, without it, the judiciary can also not be able to do it alone. They need mobility for collection of the evidence and also for bringing the victims and the perpetrators. This require all resources. And currently the judiciary is understaffed. They may not have the money and to be able to all do the work for the survivor-centered approach and also the multi-sectoral response to gender-based violence. And what is required is that for the GBV court, for example, it's only in Juba and it is not in the states. So there's need for resources to be allocated by the state and by the government for this matter, for the judiciary to be able to establish units in the states that could respond to GBV. And this is where a lot of the violations happen and a lot of cases go unheard. And we have been planning together this training with the judiciary. And one of the things we discuss is that in the absence of the GBV courts in the states, there is need to bring the judges and the magistrates from the states for this training. And the other next step will be now to roll out the training to the states so that even those in the counties can benefit and they can be able to exercise their duty at that level without waiting for a formal, structured GBV courts to be established. So the knowledge given to them will fill that gap and they can be able to apply it in the different locations.
Are there some data?
I cannot speak for the government in terms of the data that they may have, but as civil society we work with conflict-related sexual violence victims, and we work in 6 locations currently. And in those locations at least we are having in each location 200 survivors. So that means that the ones we work with, and there are those ones which are not documented and I cannot tell the specific data. But if you also read the UN report, there are reports that indicate how many conflict-related sexual violence are there. And also if you read previous reports, including from CARE International, UNFPA, you could see that the number of GBV victims has gone as high as 6,000, and this include domestic violence victims, neglect, and the rest, and coupled with the conflict-related sexual violence. So I could say that there's no specific data now for the country, and I think the Ministry of Gender is working towards having a database, and we are hoping that we will have statistics of how many victims are there and how many have gotten redress. But for the Center for Inclusive Governance, we work specifically with conflict-related sexual violence victims.
We understand that the aftermath of sexual-related violence that has been triggered by conflict has resulted to a lot of stuff, a lot of things, like besides the women who were assaulted during conflict and now they have children out of those incidences. Now, those are complex situations, and once we have heard of several complaints that raising these children are becoming a problem, and they are also having a lot of pain in their heart because they do not see justices. So for that matter, as an advocate, what do you have to say?
I work with the mothers of these children born out of rape. And one of the things they go through is the stigma. You know, they didn't expect, first the ordeal of the rape itself is traumatizing to them, and then having a child is even worse trauma for them. They are not prepared to have these children. And these children, they don't know their fathers. And you know, in our community, when the father of the child is not known, people keep talking about it. And worst of it is got through violence and also through rape. So the mother suffers the stigma and the child also suffers double, because some of the mothers, even they reject these children. They feel the pain of having these children in their lives. And the children also keep asking, where is my father? And this put the whole family of that woman into problems, because how will they answer this child? And how will they explain that you are not having a father and you are born with this? So conflict-related sexual violence is a bad thing in our society because it breeds generational trauma. The mother is traumatized, transferred to the child, and the child is traumatized. And in some communities, even it leads to revenge. And we don't want to have this in our society, because we want every child to be born in a dignified way, recognized, and also accepted in the family. The other thing is that when you look at our nationality and birth registration, there is a place for the father. And what will these mothers put there? Most of them live without the birth certificate or nationalities because they cannot be able to put somebody's name there to be the father. There are children who get recognition through their uncles, but you can see that as they grow up, they become curious, and then you are calling this daddy, and here he's your uncle. So it's very important that these children get their legal rights and recognition through their mothers, and that the state is able to protect such children from abuse and also support them in terms of their education. One of the things for me is that the public need to be standing with the survivors and also standing with the victims. It's always important that they support the victims of sexual violence, and that in the communities they don't stigmatize these children. And one of the things I keep saying is that stop the stigma against the victims and against these mothers. And gender-based violence require all of us to stand up. Today someone is a victim, tomorrow it will be another one, and it will be you. So we don't need to live in a situation where we are having violence in the family, we are having violence in the communities, we are having violence in our nation. And with gender-based violence, it can be trickling to everybody, and the impact is great. For the government, I think the government needs to come out strongly and condemn this act and ensure that victims are supported, and that children who are born out of rape are having free access to services like education, like health services, and that their legal rights are protected and that they are given recognition. And the government also need to support the judiciary in terms of implementing some of their recommendations that came in the Judicial Reform Committee, which calls for the support in terms of the infrastructure development of the judiciary and training of the judiciary. And above all, also safeguarding the independence of the judiciary in terms of the administration and in terms of running of their affairs, so that perpetrators who commit violations against women cannot be intimidating the judiciary, and that the judiciary is a respected institution.
ده كانت هناك الناشطة جاكلين نسيوة المديرة التنفيذية للحوكمة الشاملة والسلام والعدالة، وده منظمة بتاع مجتمع مدني، وهي تكلم في نقاط عديدة ومهمة. وقبال احنا سمينا برضو من بعض من القضاء. السؤال اللي احنا بنطرحه كيف ممكن كيف بتتعامل المحاكم مع قضايا العنف القائمة على النوع الاجتماعي من خلال تجربة بتاعك او اكسبيرينس بتاعك؟ وهل بتعتقد انه الحواجز اللغوية او غيره من القيود قد تأثر على تحقيق العدالة؟ موضوع بتاع اللغات، مرات بتلقى القاضي بيتكلم عربي والزول الجا بيتكلم انجليزي، او تاني بيتكلم انجليزي تاني ما بيتكلم عربي. يعني ده حال بتشوف قاعد يعرقل او قاعد يعطل نوعا ما توصيل بتاع العدالة في الزمن المحدد. وما هي تجربتك الشخصية مع مراكز الشرطة والنظام القضائي في البلاد؟ Now the question we ask, how are the courts handling gender-based violence cases in your experience? And do you think language barriers or other constraints are affecting the delivery of justice? And what has been your personal experience with police stations and the court system in the country? Be part of the conversation now by dialing 0911-022-986-986. But then after this break.
تقوم في جنوب السودان.
مرحبا بك مرة ثانية، ده الوقت اللي نرفع المكالمات. اي راديو.
الو.
نعم.
من اجي كده صباح الخير.
صباح النور ويليام.
ويليام اللي لقوا هذا.
نعم.
جبت برنامج سمع شديد يعني. طبعا الناس دائما نتكلم وكل كلاماتهم كويس. لكن تعرف يعني احسن انا ما بقصد يعني اللغه اللي كان انجليزي ولا كان عربي. لكن انا كان بحب يعني كان في محاكم هناك اللي في كده يكون في توزيع كويس من القضايا. شفت القضايا اللي بتيجي من الشرطه، حتى في الشرطه جوا هناك ذاته انت ما هم يفهم ذاته الناس اللي اننا في جنوب السودان بجد دوله جديد لسه ولسه ما نتعلم كثير ذاته. لغتنا الكثير الا روتان ما انجليزي ولا عربي. كان في عربي وبكون عربي جوبا، لأن ناس ما زالت في جوبا ذات وعربي الكثير ده كله ما لغة جوبا دي أنا نرجع استخدموها. هذا كان جيت من ناس بتاع النيل ناس في جوبا ما بسمعوا، جيت من برغزال ناس في جوبا ما بسمعوا ولا اسمع في جوبا هنا. واللغة بتمشي إلا لغة جوبا دي طبعا هو بيمشي أكثر حاجة يعني ناس بفهموه، لأنه كله طبعا بلا اسمع تركز كله في جوبا يعني أنت أكثر حاجة بنمارس ناس في السوق ولا في الدكان نسوا العربي ده انت بتمارسه. فعشان كده حتى في المحاكم ذاته كان بتوزع المحاكم، كان جاب اللغه الانجليزيه القضاء كمان يفهم الاسباب كشرطه هنا في المحاكم بتاعهم هناك. ممكن يجيب لك المحكمه ده المتحري لو يجيب لك باللغه الانجليزيه تقوم تقدمه للقاضي القارة الانجليز الجامعه الافريقيه والدول الافريقيه ده والجامعه السودانيه طبعا القضاء اللي في السودان باللغه العربيه طبعا تقدم لهم البتاع ده كان محكمة جاء بالعربي تقدم لهم النسخة دي لهم بهنا كده عشان المتهم هناك وبتجي بهناك. أصلا كل المتهمين بتاعنا ما بيتكلم الإنجليزي ولا بيتكلم بالعربي، لكن أكثر حاجة بيتكلم باللغة العربية هو بيتكلم بالروتان بتاعه يا بالعربي بتاعه. لكن أكثر حاجة وجا قاعد في العاصمة بما بيستخدم اللغة العربية البسيط ده. يلا القاري انت بتركز له تبدله في اللغه العربيه بتقول له عشان هو نسلكت عشان هو بيقوم بيفهم الكلام ده وبيقوم بيحكم العداله. اديك العافيه يا بلد.
اديك العافيه، شكرا لك. راديو. نعم، موضوع برضو بتاع الروطان وموضوع بتاع النوعيه بتاع العربي يعني بتمشي في على النيل زي ما هو ذكر او مدينه ملكال بتلقى العربي طبعا براو من عربي الناس بيتكلموا به في جوبا، حتى تمشي في واو بتلقى العربي بيتكلموا به براو من العربي اللي هنا في جوبا. راديو.
Emmanuel, just from Kayla, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
David McGo from Wow.
Welcome, David.
My brother, when we talk about justice or language barrier by itself, the issue of the language is not a problem. Many South Sudanese, they know Arabic. Only the few, those who do go to school are the ones who know English. But what is supposed to be done is, it is not compulsory that the judges are forced only to learn English. Malo zol al Arabi lama kharaj tijama wa shunu ma wiji lugal khalas zol de kali yeger min Arabic la English de loka wo barabu usuka de zato ya bukali ya shani faham kalam zol ma fi ma kamat fi aje sum mutarjim bukun fo translator who will just translate from that language to the other language. This is one. Number two, al mikila tin nimrawa to Junubu Sudan da ma mikila betaloka ya nimrawa al mikila nimrawa de ju lo itala meshe dasa de al hak bitana sanin buwader punus lo meshe wado guru le gadi al gal maksul bi makama yana al hak bitak de bitazul ma indu guru buwader wa nimrat ne lo inda lo ita meshe makama ma general wala honorable al hak bitak bukun ma mal ashan al binubi al ma indu guru ma indu title bita general ma honorable ma indu hak dole de da haja nimrawa na darin kalam fo mu ina da kalam barnami bitaloka ولا ناس يتكلم في برنامج ده. الحاجة نمرة كلي ناس يتكلم جنوبين كله يكون سوا. الكبير الرئيس بتاع دولة ده لازم يكون سوا في قدام قانون. لو حاجة زي ده ما في الجنوبي زار ما بالحق ده ما مشكلة بتاع لغة زي يا سبب. السبب في الجنوبين ده قانون يا ما منظم. هسه زول اللي بيقول بسجن ب 24 ساعة بعمل زول تاني بعمل 3 سنة زول تاني بعمل 3 شهور ما عملوا له تاجيل وممكن كده بسجن بس مشكلة بتاع 20,000 أو 100,000. هل في عدالة في محله؟ كلام زي ما في. يعني honorable ولا general لو كتاب في السجن بس اللي زمانه بيجي ياو زول بيجي معاه كم لو ما جاي تبغى في السجن. هل في عدالة في محله؟ ده الناس خلينا نتكلم برنامج بتاع عدالة قبل الناس نتكلم برنامج بتاع لوكا. المشكله بتاع بنادو نتاوي يعني ده insecurity السلامه في جنوب السودان البنادو نتاوي بيكون ما عندهم حق في الدوله ده عشان ما بدور اقل لو انت دور كده وانت وزير في يد بتاع مجرمين انت بيكون عندك مشكله لو بيجي جانا جنرال يعمل لك نظام ده ولا جانا هنا المشكله ده بوضع المرض ما بقى حق بتوع كده الحاجه دايرين نتكلم فوق دايرين نتكلم في عداله عشان الناس كله يكون سوا في قدام قانون. هذا اللغه بيجي نمره 2. الاخر حاجه اي ورك شوب ولا تريننج بعملوه في جوبا تل الباقي قدام القاعدين في ولايات بلقى برنامج ده كيف. ثانك يو.
ثانك يو. طبعا هم جابوا بعض من الناس من الولايات على حسب كلام بتاعهم اللي احنا سمعناه هناك. خلينا نمشي لفاصل اعلاني ومنه حنجي نواصل ونرفع المكالمات.
Albonane, always at your service. For all wholesale traders, save more for your people. Wholesale food items available now. Sugar, rice, oil and more, including cars and beyond. Top quality, competitive prices. To place your order, WhatsApp 09123 03076 or 09123 06078 or visit us at Juba Airport Road. Albonane, always at your service. Don't miss out. Quantities are limited.
iRadio, put your eye on South Sudan. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
مرحبا بك مرة ثانية مستمع راديو في كل مكان. نواصل ونرفع المكالمات في موضوع بتاع القضاء، وده لسه في الحلقة اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه، وعندنا حوالي ربع ساعة عشان نختم مع حلقاتنا بتاع الليلة. اتصل علينا وقدم رسالتك. راديو
من الجزء وكيل.
نعم
سليمان من هيتراو.
سليمان اتفضل.
لا طبعا ولا حاجة، كان قاعد نتكلم عن القضايا بتاعنا طبعا. بالمناسبة كده المشكلة ده طبعا هو نظام زادوا نظام في قضايا بتاعنا. أول حاجة أكيد أنت لو شفت قضايا بتاعنا قضايا غير مستقلة، ده من المفترض من قليل شوف الحل بتاع المدير. يعني قضايا بتاعنا ظاهر كده قضايا يعني مربوط بحكومة لأنه ما مستقل. فإحنا كجنوبين الجنوب بتاعنا إحنا عايزين قضايا مستقلة عشان أي زول بيلقى حقه زي ما قالون بيقول. نمرة 2 اللغة بتاع مشكلة بتاع اللغات ده ما يعني مشكلة، لأنه أكيد عندنا آلاف من الناس قرأوا باللغة العربية، عندنا الناس برضو قرأوا باللغة الإنجليزية. لغتين ده ما حدنا، حتى الدستور بتاعنا قال official language in South Sudan يا English language followed by Arabic language. ما لا من كل شنو من كل official، لأن أنت زاد زول بتاع عربي أنت بيكون محتاج، أنت بيكون مدير إنه في زول بتاع عربي لازم تواصل به. نفس هذا برضو زول بتاع إنجليزي بيكون مدير إنه بعدين بيكون في زول بتاع إنجليزي عشان شنو يواصل. مش ما في يعني اللغة بتاع إنجليزي ولا اللغة بتاع عربي، مش في عدالة زادوا. قالوا أنا مشيت في المحكمة كان ونسوق بإنجليزي، أنا لو ما لقيت حق بتاعي كده فايدة ده شنو؟ ولا أنا كان مشيت في المحكمة كلمة محكمة بعربي، أنا لو ما لقيت حق بتاعي يعني فايدة حقه شنو؟ مشكلة ده بيربطنا مع الأول بتاع كوربشن برضه، لأنه هسه كده أنت تلقى الزول بمشي في المحكمة في حقه أو وطن تعيش له أنا مشيت في المحكمة بيجي بقلبوا لي عكسي، لأنه في ناس اللي بيجي بفلوس في ناس اللي بيجي بفلوس. يعني معناه زاد القضاء بقى علم يعني برامج بتاع كوربشن، محامين بقى علم نفسه برامج بتاع كوربشن، مو يعني بقى كتير بيحتاجوا لبزنس ما يعني هم ما بيحتاجوا لمهنية زادوا مهنية بتاع قضايا هم ما قالين يعني تجولهم بقى يعني بقى بمشي لبزنس. دي حاجة اللي احنا قاعدين نشوف في جوبا هنا قضاء كتير محامين كتير لكن كتير من ديرين قروش ليه لأنه ما في اهتمام من كبار بتاع الحكومة لهم. فعشان أنا بتكلم في حاجات دلة كده قضايا بتاعنا قدي مستقلة بما يكون أن جندر بيس فايلنس. طبعا في تحسن بسيط يعني هذا في محكمة هسه، لكن محكمة ده من المفترض بيكون في كل ولايات بتاعنا بتاع السودان ما بس في جوبا هنا. محكمة ده ما بس بيكون مركز في جوبا، عشان كيف أنا بقدر بقلل
نعم
جندر بيس فايلنس ده ممكن يا وراي ده.
شكرا لتقديم رأي بتاعك برضو. راديو هلا راديو. نعم أرجع تاني واتصل علينا. هلا راديو.
Good morning, Manuel.
Yes, good morning.
Let me share my frustration with the networking. Wow.
Sorry, ding.
والله ita ayi no asa ni na David Magoga dog gadari dagal zaman de. People are struggling, calling. I don't know what is happening in Wow. Both network are totally poor. We are aging the network companies, please. It's not good. That I think we are doing. This is a job. We are waking up in the morning. We need to talk. We need to do things. So if there's no network, how can we express our opinion?
Right.
Okay? And there are people also who want to talk to the loved one. Especially, it's very hard in Wow here. It's network with Wow. They're in Halpo. So when it comes to the issue of justice in South Sudan, Emmanuel, the Hajj Mapru, in Kalam Niko Gatir. Taban hak bata muwa ma mumkin inu yutani shilu limertini guda zatu buga indu mishkila talga gada tani guda tani buga wild in the court yalla tiger in tarbe bitam gabirde taji zaga di ita mutaham wala ita zatu chanki ita takhamanu bagal enu bamu nafsu bamu legi rahabat ita tareb miskin mutaham ke. You need to come. This is somebody with the trauma, with something different. You need to calm him down so that you get he able to defend himself or herself. He or she able to actually express. Akin Loman threatened by the judge in the court. What kind of justice are you lady that person have? And if a person have, even if you are a criminal, you need your right to be given. So this must stop. In the judiciary, if they are able to do such a training, let them talk to the judges and advocates. Another thing, abstraction of the money from the hand of the citizen. And maybe they were repeating from the person. If you want to take away what the family have, because it's a lokaram does only halu ya which for long. If you want to take away hajat al halu to the biakul, halzol nazel beheshuke. We need to balance things in this country. There be this customary court. Peace salasin people. Nazel gaman hagum and they're in this local government. In Kalam Toman. They tend to be business people. They are extorting money from the hand of the citizen. Talga Michel Betahal, Betal Wusser, Mafruta Sultan. You are a clan leader. You need to help to solve it as a clan leader. You turn it to be your own personal business. The Karam Zol Guru, Tabagar, the Karam Zol Guru, after Bagarin, the Hajad Wing. As a Salatin, that to go beyond the court, the customary law, to go beyond the treasury law. They actually are stopping the money. This is my first point. I am not actually happy with. Limitalata Petafi Hajj as I indicated with my sister. I reported in Ira last year. It has now going to 3 years in Aulis County Court. Just small case. She have just got a problem with the husband. She got divorced and she's claiming her right. They don't able to give her right. Now it's going to third year. Since 2023. Tekalam Shuru Zeden. Makulita. Ajat Basit Zeden. Kudama Catherine Helu. But they advocate are just adjourning the cases on daily basis, and the judge is not talking. Then she knew Bakalim Nunu adjourn the case. The advocate have to give the right of the complainant.
The Mahkama Taglidi or the Mahkama Aladira?
The Mahkama Ali Bitana Bital is the Century Court, the court of the county court in Aulis County. It is the court, and I have advocate, and the others and our often have the advocate. Okay? Lakin the Mohammed Yabia Kulu Madaiman cases. Okay? And see now they are unable to bring out the ruling. I don't know what is happening. And Mohammed came here in the middle. And I doubt where my sister is complaining is the one actually playing all the game behind. And the judge is sitting, just watching. Something that I want to complain to Kilniab and Butolo with the Hajj Basipas older Shupinu, Raja Khala, who's Alan in Rajal Khala, the Gala Mantalajana.
All right.
Wow, Katir, would there are been lay in Rajal Bamulo that they are loving Wamutalatan. I do have Patalo mind walk, Uloman walk, and she paid Malu to run the time of it. Get the Maliga Halbita, Maliga Hagu. We can now much is that will got the master to decide, and I am complaining to two parties. I am calling to God and of Michelle Gat. I just let them to cancel the case and let her go home because she has been here for 3 years. in the county headquarters following up the case. And Mohammed are playing that game, which is not good. And then the should be Jim Sudan Kali Muatan should have bit out. None of the Muatan, Kufi Khanu, Aladala Muatan, don't find the Muatan Yalga Hadala Bitao. Limit Arba Bitao, Emmanuel, Kalam Taluga de Mahim. Gati, and Mabi Arba Luka, Mamma Prudin, you would do in Mudama, Aluma Bakta Kalamam. Ubade, Kalka Zola, Mabi Arba, we need these things to be also considered until sometime later. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. تكلم في نقاط مهمة وبالتحديد ختم بموضوع بتاع اللغة. راديو. عندنا حوالي 7 أو 6 دقائق لرأس الساعة، نرفع بعض من المكالمات قبل ما نختم. راديو.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes.
This is Nur from Bo.
Nur, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show. This is important topic. Regarding this language barrier, that is, say, when you are going in court or you have a case, yes, language matters. Now, in South Sudan, it is said official language is English. But this doesn't happen. If it is official language, that means it can be used at official meetings, it can be used in church, it can be used everywhere, in every situation. And this is the reason. South Sudan is a country with more than 50 languages, and these languages every has its own language. The shared language that is spoken here, in particular in Central Equatoria, is so-called Juba, the pidgin of the Arabic language. This is a common language that is used here. Yes, you can, language barrier can be problematic because maybe you are learning your language. For example, now I'm not native English speaker. I speak English because this is a language that is common, that is used. And if I speak in my language, native language, not everyone may understand me because this is my native language. The South Sudanese have their own languages that they speak. So this matters, and this is the reason why maybe I can struggle to say the word in my language. I know it in my native language, but when it comes to translating it in other language like English or Arabic, it may be difficult. And I may struggle to say this in. So people can learn the language. Language matters a lot. For example, in English language, or now you speak 2 languages. If you speak English, it's better. And Arabic is also better because these are 2 international languages that are speaking around the world, and you can go everywhere. So if you speak in Arabic, it can be translated into English. If you speak in English, it can be also translated into Arabic, so that many people can understand this. So this is something that I can say about language. When as far as justice is concerned, so the matter sometimes it can be not because of the language. It can be let me say this. The suborn. Sometimes the judges can be suborn and can be also and the case can disappear in midway because you are not. There is no fair judgment.
Right.
For example, there are someone who may come before the hearing start and may disturb a private discussion with the jury, and later the case may end up you are losing, or which doesn't stand to reason. This is because there is supporting of the judges or jury, and this is this sometimes can be the case. So I said that in language matters, so that we can learn the language, either English or Arabic. Given that English is our national official language, we should learn this So if you have limited vocabulary in language, for example, in English, you cannot express yourself well. Therefore, we can learn the languages. We can speak in language so that we can express our ideas.
Right. Thank you very much. And that's the last caller there for today. We leave it there. We've come to the end of the Dawn edition. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and also beyond the borders. Up next, news in Arabic. On behalf of the Dawn team, Geoffrey Amanya, Darlington Moses, and Diko Di Andrew, this has been Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Do have a good day. We meet again tomorrow.